Everybody, welcome to the fourth episode of the Thank God for Wrestling podcast. I am co-host number one, CJ McClure.
I'm two of two, Johnny King.
And we started this podcast because Johnny King was on Bleacher Report Community, wanted to start one. I reached out to him on Instagram, and we are a month into this thing. So let's do it.
Yep. All right, so it was a crazy week in wrestling. A lot of stuff happened. We're gonna briefly talk about Raw. We're gonna go through Raw. Then we have some NXT news, obviously, that came out, and then we're gonna get into SmackDown because I know me and CJ both have a lot to say about SmackDown and decisions that were made on that show. And then we're gonna do our special prompt, and today's special prompt will be our Mount Rushmores. Basically like overall Mount Rushmore and then our personal Mount Rushmore. But without further ado, let's get into Raw. It was a pretty good show this week. I can't
Much better
complain.
than last week, 100%.
Yeah. So Cody kicked off Raw. He's in the ring, talking about he wants a third match with Brock. Brock, obviously at first didn't show up. We didn't think Brock was going to be there, but Brock was announced to be there. And then Cody's mom was in the crowd, so you know how Cody is, all emotional, almost crying, talking about his mom. And Brock ends up not coming out. Cody goes over to his mom, hugs, and then we hear Brock's music, but we don't see Brock. And so Cody walks back, and then Brock's music hits again. We still don't see Brock. So Cody goes back, like he's going back to Gorilla, and then we just see like a chair fly, and then we see just Brock like manhandling Cody. And then Brock takes him over back to where like over by the ring. He F5s him in front of his mom, Kimura lock in front of his mom, and he goes back into the ring, puts the Kimura lock on him again, and he smiles and he says, "Challenge accepted." So we have Brock, Cody at SummerSlam. As of right now, there's no stipulation, but it was just announced that there's gonna be a contract signing, so we probably will get a stipulation.
We should. I mean, we talked about it before, I think last week. I mean, there definitely should be a stipulation to, I think, spice up the end of this feud. And I talked about how it should be 2 out of 3 falls. I think it would make sense. Well, I saw someone post about it. I can't remember, or just some wrestling pages I follow. I think someone like said that it should be a 3 stages of hell match, which I could
Okay.
get down with. I could definitely get down with.
Okay.
Um,
You know what I think it should be? Submission.
that'd be interesting, just because
Because only like 2 or 3 people have made Brock tap out ever.
Kurt
Last time
Angle
Brock tapped, yeah, and Chris Benoit.
and Chris, yeah, no
And
one
think
else.
about, yeah, I don't think so,
In
right?
terms of like actually,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's just Kurt and Chris. I mean, Undertaker won by submission back in 2015 at SummerSlam, but Brock didn't tap out. Brock passed out.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
Now think about Cody saying he made the Beast tap. Or like a I Quit match, if they did something like that. If they want to give Cody the win,
right.
I think they should do it where Brock has to put Cody over.
I mean, if Cody won back at Backlash, I think Brock would be willing to put him over, assuming that's the route that they go. I know we kind of made an argument about how hard times and he can lose the feud to Brock, but so I mean I see both sides of him winning and losing. That would be interesting, but this isn't 2003 anymore, so I just can't see Brock tapping out.
I know.
I
Yeah, I understand that. I don't think they would have like I don't know if Brock would even want to do that to his character, but I
right.
feel like if if Cody Rhodes is the guy who's eventually supposed to beat Roman Reigns, then he has to do something that only few people have done, and that's make Brock tap. And then he
And
can use that
that's true.
with every one of his next feuds. I made the Beast tap. I made the Beast tap. You know how Seth Rollins had the Beast Slayer? Cody Rhodes' whole thing can be I made the Beast tap.
Right. I mean, that's true. I mean, not even Roman made Brock tap out. He's beaten Brock on more than one occasion, but didn't
Yeah.
make him tap out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I guess we'll see the contract signing. But it segment as a whole, pretty generic, but I think it did its job. I mean, Cody was in his hometown, so of course he was going to get attacked. I think they could have done better. I mean, I think they should have gotten
He,
Cody's mom a little more involved. Like, obviously, just have Brock just beat the snot out of Cody more than he did, and maybe even have Brock get in Cody, like, don't obviously attack her, but like get up in her grill, like, hey, that's your son, right? That's the son of Dusty. And then obviously challenge accepted. Like have Cody's mom like actually like go and comfort her son, you know. But other than that, it did its job and moved the feud forward. I'm hoping that their last match will be their best match, hence the stipulation I'm hoping to see. I don't blame you for your tweet of how many times can Brock break Cody's arm. I don't blame you
bro,
for
like,
that.
yeah, it's like how many, like, it's his arm can't just heal and then get rebroken again. Like, it hasn't even
Yeah,
been like what, 3, 4 weeks. Like, that's not how it works.
right. But I don't blame you at all for feeling that way. Obviously, the feud's gonna end at SummerSlam, but it did its job, right? It was generic, but it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, generic is a great way to describe it. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's only so much you can do with the Brock Lesnar feud because Brock Lesnar, he's like one dimensional in the aspect of like he's a beast. Like he's just gonna beat you up and you're just gonna have to overcome it. You know what I mean?
I mean, obviously, he's gotten better with this character with like Cowboy Brock, and been more
Yeah.
vocal and been on the mic more. But and not to get too far on the rabbit hole with Brock, but I think it was Randy Orton or maybe Seth Rollins. But I think Randy. I don't know how recent this was, but they said something like Brock is probably at the point where he'll disappear here and there for short hiatuses, come back
Mm-hmm.
and attack a guy that works there full time, 200,
Yeah.
300 plus days out of the year. Because what else do
Yeah.
we really, not we, but what else do you do with Brock at this point of his career? He could still go put on good matches and intensity and all that, but no point in making world champion anymore unless if that's really what he wanted. But
Yeah.
well, what else do you do? I mean, he is a bit in the later years of his career, but he could still go. So I don't know what you do
Mm-hmm.
other than dream matches.
Yeah, it is true. And then like I just feel like you said, I feel like they should have had Cody's mom get involved a little bit more. Like I saw someone said like Brock should have like F5 Cody's mom. I was like, nah, that's a little too far.
Yeah,
We
that's a
can't get
bit
away
much.
with that now.
Yeah, this ain't the
But yeah,
ruthless aggression
even
attitude era.
yeah, even like he Brock did give her a little smile, but even like getting in her face, like saying like talking a little bit more to make it more intriguing, just make
Right.
it feel like this is like actually real. And I like
Yeah.
that we saw like the little sinister side of Brock, like smiling after he
Oh
put
yeah.
her son in the Kimura. And I hope that's what we get. I hope it's a stipulation where we can get like sinister of both Cody and Brock.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and obviously Cody getting attacked in his hometown gives Brock heat, but I think he would have gotten more heat, like what we're talking about, if he would have got more up in, Mama Rhodes' grill.
Yeah.
So
And then next thing we had was it was a non-title match, but it was Matt Riddle versus Gunther. And boy, was that a hard-hitting match.
much better than Money in the Bank,
Yes,
easily.
bro. I feel like the reason they did this was they both knew that they could do better. And even this match wasn't even that long, and it was still a hard hitting. It was a good match, dude. And dude, like Gunther's chops, dude. Oh my God, dude. He was training chops, and then Riddle was kicking him, bro. It was like gunshots, bro. It was crazy.
I mean, those chops are so loud. I often forget with like kicks, like even Riddles, some of Riddle's kicks, and obviously the super kicks have the thigh slap. But I mean, when you really just
Mm-hmm.
hear skin on skin with those chops, Gunther, Ric
Dude.
Flair, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, etc. Everybody that does those chops, like Gunther especially. I mean, it's just you're like, ugh, like
Mm-hmm.
you can't fake that. I mean, you just got to take it.
Yeah, like, and Riddle's used to it because he used to be an MMA fighter,
Oh
so
yeah.
they were
Yeah.
probably like, bro, let's just give it all we have.
Yes, I
And
mean,
then like,
great
yeah,
match, and I loved the after promo that got their cut after the match.
yeah. And then to end the match, they call his drop kick a Tyrannosaurus drop kick. And then he followed him up with the powerbomb for the victory. And then after he stood on the table with the championship around his waist, and he basically said, Drew McIntyre, if you want a shot, you can come get it. but he said everyone will fall in line to the ring general. I just think, bro, Gunther has it all, bro.
Oh,
He
yeah,
has it all.
easily.
Like he has the in-ring work, the character work, the mic work, bro. He's a champion. Like he will be the face of WWE one day.
Easily. I think he'll main event night one at WrestleMania 40. I think
Yeah.
I think we kind of briefly talked about this. I think he'll break the IC title record, which he deserves, lose it. Just curious of who's going to beat him for it, but lose it. Maybe have him win the Royal Rumble. I mean, I just maybe because like I don't know what they're going to do with Cody trying to get to WrestleMania to face Roman. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
But get Gunther deserves it, and yes, I mean, and Gunther just makes everybody better. Almost all of his matches, SmackDown, pay per view, the IC title have been great. It really
Mm-hmm.
does remind me. I keep bringing this up of Cena's U.S. title run back in 2015 when he was doing all those open challenges. I mean, and obviously those not a lot of those guys beat Cena with the exception of Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, but
Yeah.
was making everybody better. Even if it's just that one episode of TV, it's like, oh, so and so can actually go and give him the chance. And
Mm-hmm.
Gunther does that. I think he displays other talent too.
Yeah, bro. This is a hot take. Hear me out.
Okay.
I feel like Gunther makes me care more about the Intercontinental Championship than Seth Rollins makes me care about the new World Heavyweight Championship. Like I'm just more invested in Gunther and the IC title than I am Seth in the World Heavyweight.
I mean, he's been champion longer with that title than Seth has, right? So I mean, and I
Like
think Gunther's just more.
to me it just feels right now it just feels more important than the World Heavyweight Championship. Is that a hot take?
I think that's fair, just because again he's been champion longer, and yeah, Gunther has this character slash gimmick, but it's just more serious.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if this is a fair comparison, so to speak, but like Gunther it almost reminds me of Nikola Jokic in the sense of like I come out here, do
Yeah.
my job, I want to be
Mm-hmm.
champion, go home.
Yep. He's like I come to win. I don't care. I'm not a team player. I lead and I get the job done. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not here to amuse anybody. I'm not here to be friends with anybody. I'm here to win.
And obviously he's in a faction, right? But I just think to your point, Gunther's just more realistic.
Yeah. In my notes, I literally
Almost
have no, you go. You're good.
I was just saying, almost. I don't know if this is a fair comparison. Has like the boxing MMA aspect to it. Like I'm the champ.
Yeah.
Come
It
get some.
like it's almost like it's like it's Kate like he breaks kayfabe like it's like real like I
Yeah.
believe it. I literally in my notes I said when he talks you listen because like you do like
And
I can't really take a Seth Rollins promo where he's laughing and stuff. I can't really take that as serious as I take Gunther's promos because like I don't know.
I just think with Seth, it just has to be a balance. Like, Kurt Angle's
Yeah,
been world champion, but he could be funny, right? I
yeah,
mean, but he
yeah,
was a balance of funny and seriousness. I mean, I don't know. No, I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's a valid take. I mean, but again, maybe not a complete fair comparison because Gunther's been champion for over a year versus that world heavyweight title is
hmm
just now coming about this year.
hmm
But I hear what you're saying. Gunther's just more realistic.
yeah. But I mean, going into what we're gonna talk about later with the Seth and Finn stuff, I'm invested now. But we're gonna get to that. Yeah. So Gunther took that match, and after that it was just Judgment Day, little Judgment Day thing. Um, yeah, Jackie Redmond was backstage with Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, and then Rhea ends up attacking Raquel and messing up her leg. And then once I saw that, I was like, okay, but they have a match later. So I kind of knew what direction they were gonna go in. But now I am happy that this might mean we get a Raquel and Rhea Ripley feud.
Same. And we talked about that kind of on the first episode, how Raquel eventually needs to be pushed. I say book Liv and Rhea for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Have them have a good match. Rhea obviously retains, and then transition over to Rhea Raquel feud.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And on that note, I think Chelsea Green is starting to grow on me.
Bro, she's so good. We're gonna get into that late, like in a minute, but bro, her character, she's crafting her character and it's becoming something great.
Mhm.
So yeah, Judgment Day, after that cuts a promo right after the attack, and then it's interrupted by Sammy and KO. They go back and forth, and then they end up Sammy and KO end up putting the tag titles on the line. That will eventually be what we lead into the main event. And then we end up seeing that Raquel gets cleared for her match. So it's now going to be Raquel and Liv versus Sonya and Chelsea. And then we end up getting that match. I'm a fan of Chelsea and I am a fan of Sonya. I feel like she's underrated, especially with the stuff we've seen in this match with her knee strikes and everything. Like, bro, she hits those very, very clean. And so it was Women's Tag Team Championship match. The match was pretty quick because it was pretty quick. I think it was around like, yeah, it was probably like 5 minutes, maybe. You think?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
something like
was
that.
quick, but it was high pace. It was high intensity. I was in it the whole match, and we have new women's tag team champions. And then, bro, I'm fine with that. I think they're a great tag team to hold the belts until someone like Katana and Chance or Alba Fire and Ela Dawn are able to get back into the ranks. But bro, Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, they're like this. They go good together.
Yeah, and I'm fine with it too. I mean, as long as the belts continue to be respected and taken seriously, I think Triple H is he just hasn't been the best, but just tag team wrestling as a whole. I think that's kind of one
Yeah.
of his weak spots. But yeah, I mean, the match is fine. I mean, and it just kind of builds towards what I'm talking about. Rhea feuding with both Liv and Raquel. Chelsea
Mm-hmm.
Green's grown on me. I can't lie. I mean, I know 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, I said didn't really have. Maybe it was Maxine Dupree, I forgot, but I think I said like I didn't have an opinion on one of those. I just
Yeah.
didn't care. But
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea's grown on me. I'm neutral towards Sonya personally. Um, I think she's fine as a wrestler. I think it's just her character for me is just like, it doesn't
Yeah,
resonate
I
with me.
feel
I
that.
don't, but I don't hate her either. So I
Yeah,
mean, but
I think she just doesn't really have a character. Like she had a character when she was a manager, general
yeah,
manager. But
but I
now she
didn't even
doesn't
like her
really.
as a man.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do like her. I like her. I like her. I don't love her, but I don't hate her. I think she just needs to get more of an identity.
I will say I think her and Chelsea do make each other better. Their backstage interview, I was like, fairly entertaining.
Yeah. All right, and the next thing was Rollins. It was a World Heavyweight Championship backstage segment with Byron Saxton. Rollins says he has big plans for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam, and he says the title deserves a marquee matchup. And it's a short list of challengers, he said, but Finn Balor has earned a place on that list. And bro, this promo, it was set up like an NXT promo. Like you could tell Triple H was in charge of this. And Seth Rollins starts off with Byron Saxton, and says Finn Balor is on the list. He earns a shot. And then we see Finn walk in, and Finn's like, I'll take it and Seth's like, I'll take it from here. And so they sit down, and bro, they have Seth like break character, like almost. And Seth is like, this is the first time we've seen Seth this serious since the Riddle stuff. And like, bro, now I'm invested, brother. Like, at first I was like, dude, I don't know about this. Like, I just want Seth to give the belt, give the belt over to Finn. But now it's like, I'm actually excited for this match.
So the first thing that I thought of after I watched this segment in its entirety was when you were talking about how you wanted just bitter, aggressive, vengeful Finn. I was like,
Yeah,
are we about to get that? Because there's
we
sprinkles of that in
we
this.
got
And,
it.
and to your point, just when Seth, I mean, you could see it turned on when like
Mm-hmm.
Seth leaned forward. I was like,
Yeah.
this is what we needed. And
Yep.
me personally, I just love it when things are taken seriously. And I mean, when
Yes.
Seth goes into serious mode, like he did with Riddle, like he has before with Roman Reigns in previous feuds, Dean, it's great stuff. So yeah, this segment was gold.
Yep, dude. Like everything down from like the lighting, like the angles, the fact that Finn acts like he's leaving and then he comes back and just like starts beating Seth. And then Rollins is he's this is the I just love serious Seth Rollins. We didn't get the obnoxious laughs that I can't take serious. Bro, I got a lot of heat on Twitter for talking to saying I don't like Seth Rollins, like the whatever his
The visionary.
yeah, the visionary is. Like I got a lot of heat, but I was like, bro, I just can't take it serious. Like I feel like it gets to a point where it feels too gimmicky, you know? But now we have serious stuff, so I'm happy and I'm back. So after that took place, we look at the ring and it looks like a Viking warship, you know. So we get the Viking rules match, Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders. Bro, this was like an entertaining match, bro.
So I don't typically like gimmicky matches like this because
Yeah,
all it
yeah.
is just a no disqualification match. But
Mm-hmm.
I can't hate, man. And I think you're gonna actually be happy with one thing I'm gonna say, which I'll get to. But yes, very good match, very entertaining. Almost feels like the Viking Raiders are kind of making a comeback. They're getting a little resurged
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. Let's not
Mm-hmm.
get ahead of ourselves, but see it seemed briefly like
Yeah.
the Viking Raiders of old. But all right. Being Maxine Dupree starting to grow on me too. It was
Bro,
something.
bro, there's something there with her, bro. There's something there.
It was something about the crossbody and then Chad giving her the jacket and just the thank you that she did
Mm-hmm.
and how all the fans are going along with it. She sold getting tackled on the table very well. I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
actually went back of everything on Raw. I went back and watched this a second time to see it
Same,
again.
same.
And just overall, good match. You often forget how athletic Otis is for his size.
Bro, for real.
Just seeing
And
homeboy roll
the Viking
around and
Raiders too, bro.
oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, credit's due. Those guys are studs. And Otis has gotten a lot better at getting reactions out of crowds. I
Yeah.
gotta give credit's due there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like you with Seth and Finn. I'm back in. I'm invested in this now. I think even the thank you and the shush that Chad does is starting to grow on me.
Yeah, bro. Speaking of Chad Gable, dude, he's one of the best wrestlers on the planet, bro. Say what you want. He's one of the best, dude. The the fact that he did you see him hit the moonsault
Yes.
into the suplex?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, that is crazy, bro.
Just the
His
athleticism, the coordination and timing. Gable's got it. Put him in the ring with Gunther. Put him in the ring with
dude,
Roman.
he if anyone should take the bet off Gunther, it should be Chad Gable.
You know what? 100% agree.
Like
100%
he's the
agree.
perfect person. He's a perfect successor to Gunther. And you can just build him up and make him a credible IC champion and eventually turn him to a world champion. That's how good he is. He's our generation's Kurt Angle, bro. Literally.
I was about to say that. I mean, we talked about that before. I mean, he Olympic background, I think it's Greco wrestling he specifically did, or maybe legit wrestling. I can't remember. Yeah, he's athletic. He's got the comedy. I think Cody actually put in the good word for him back when him and Chad had a one-on-one match before WrestleMania. Because
Okay.
I think Cody said like, give us some time, give
Yeah.
us some time together, just a little bit. And those guys put on a good match. So Cody put in the
Mm-hmm.
good word. Chad has never gotten a solo title reign, if I remember correctly. He's always been a tag team champion.
Yeah, he
I think
has.
so.
Yeah.
Which again,
I think,
so is Kurt. So is Kurt.
yeah, that is true.
But yeah, I mean, everything you just said is right on the money. Dethrone Gunther, eventually having the world title picture.
Mm-hmm.
So good
Next thing
stuff all around.
was, yeah, for sure. Next thing was Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross. Bro, why did they do this to Nikki? Why did they have her get squashed? Like, bro, the match was like 20 seconds, 19 seconds, or something crazy, bro. Like, what is the point? Like, why not just get a jobber to do what a jobber does. Don't make Nikki Cross a jobber. And look, I'm not the biggest fan of Nikki Cross. I never have been, but I know that she was great in NXT and she could do great things with her character now, but she just doesn't get the time to do it.
Play a little bit of devil's advocate and just say if you have just a regular jobber, get job to Shayna, I just don't think it builds Shayna up that well. But I agree with you. Why do this to Nikki? And not to devalue anyone else on the roster, but do it to a more lower card woman on the roster. Just hey, just job Shayna tonight, and then we'll have you do something else.
Yeah.
Just someone a little more credible. I'm sorry, that can't. I shouldn't say that because Nikki is credible. I guess.
Someone just who 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 doesn't have to be like when you think of Nikki, you're like you don't want to see her. You feel like if she takes any more losses, she won't be able to bring it back up.
Right.
Dang, why does it say the meeting's ending in 9? Bro, what? All right, I'll make another one after this. It's okay. Yeah, but if I feel like if Nikki doesn't do anything sooner, then she's not gonna be able to get built back up.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. But with that being said, it's so funny to me seeing Shayna getting cheered when she was the one that turned on Ronda. And on that note,
Yeah,
I think Ronda, I took her a little more seriously with this promo. She's definitely in embracing the heel role, but Shayna just outdoes her all the time. She's getting the better reaction. She's speaking with more confidence. Shayna won this segment. She's won every segment so far.
yeah. And then after this, we hear Ronda's voice from the Raptors. Her and Shayna go back at it. Shayna says, I'm a better Ronda Rousey than Ronda, which she's not lying, bro. She's really not. But after that, Ronda's like, I'll finally be able to put you on a SummerSlam card. And then so they make the match fit for SummerSlam. That's all there is, really.
But yeah, I mean, I think it did its job, moved the story forward. I think Ronda had a good dig at the SummerSlam part, but again, Shayna won this segment easily.
Yeah. And then after that, Jackie Robin's backstage with Ricochet. Ricochet cut a pretty okay backstage promo. Um, yeah, he said he wants Logan Paul to meet him in Tampa, Florida next week. And Ricochet said he will hurt Logan Paul's ego.
Yeah, and moved it forward. I think Ricochet's getting a little better at cutting promos, but he's not there yet.
Yeah, honestly, I just think Ricochet is this is gonna sound horrible, but I feel like he might be better off, not horrible, but I feel like he just might be better off in somewhere like AW or New Japan, where he can just wrestling is like the main priority, you know what I mean? Because he can probably do so much more, but he can get over with his wrestling more than he can get over with his personality.
I think New Japan for sure, because it's really
Yeah,
predominantly just about just the matches and wrestling over there. I think
yeah,
AEW values character a little bit from what I've seen, but I don't know. Just Ricochet has part of it, but he doesn't have it. If he can just get more
yeah.
confident on the mic,
I
Ricochet could be more in the shuffle of, I would say, main event talent.
yeah, I feel like they just need to make him like a complete poopy heel, like just a heel, like textbook heel, like because right now he's trying like I feel like he tries too hard to be liked. Like if you want to stay in WWE, like cut the flippy stuff out. Like stop trying to get the crowd's reaction. Be a heel and what you, don't care about what the crowd thinks, you know?
I mean, and maybe that's just what he needs. I mean, go back. This might be the best comparison, but go back and look at The Rock. Super cheesy baby face. Oh, Rocky Maivia, and everyone was chanting "Die Rocky Die." He turned heel, joined the Nation of Domination, and that made him better. That made Dwayne better and more confident. What Roman Reigns is now has been as the tribal chief heel, much better. He's gotten better. So
Yeah.
maybe that's just what Ricochet needs. I think we may have compared it, mentioned it before, to Neville Pac now. How Neville
Mm-hmm.
turned heel and did less flippy stuff and actually more power moves
Mm-hmm.
to not wow
Mm-hmm.
the crowd. Maybe that's just what Ricochet needs.
Yeah. Speaking of Pac, man, Blood and Guts was insane.
I saw the promo that he cut, but
Yeah.
again, I can't even get Raw and SmackDown live, so I just don't really go out of my way to
Yeah,
watch
nah, I
AEW. I
feel you.
keep up with it, keep up with it, and I heard great
Yeah,
stuff about Collision tonight, but just I don't sit
bro.
down and watch it.
Collision. It was great, but it was more of like a setup show for next week. Like next week's Collision is gonna be crazy, bro. It's stacked. It's stacked. But yeah, next thing was Miss TV. Becky Lynch was a special guest. And really, it's not really, bro. I'm done with like I don't even the fact that I don't even want to talk about it shows that, bro. But Miss TV, Becky Lynch, Trish and Zoe Starks come out. In my notes, I say boring, boring. Trish says Becky has to get on her knees and say thank you, Trish, and tattoo it on her to get a match. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. Like what? But
Yeah,
basically, yeah, you're good.
Trish lost me the tattoo part. I thought the segment was fine. It wasn't dog water. I liked seeing
Mm-hmm.
Becky get pissed at Miz. I was like, oh, okay, there we go. We're going somewhere. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say Trish has lost touch because that would be very disrespectful. But just this segment was not her best work.
Yeah, and then I don't understand why they had Zoe win last week, but now they're just gonna have Becky win this next upcoming week so she can face Trish at SummerSlam. So what was the point of I have more to say about that whole like beating someone to just face them again situation when we get to SmackDown, but yeah, I don't know. But I'm glad this is ending soon.
Just have Becky win at SummerSlam, win the feud, and hopefully it's a good match. Hopefully we
Yeah,
can at least end on a good note.
yeah. And then the next thing was Shinsuke versus Bronson. This match ended early though due to Tommaso Ciampa interfering. And then we see Tommaso Ciampa and Shinsuke in the ring. And Tommaso Ciampa's like, my bad, my bad. And then Shinsuke kicks him. And then after that, we go to Shinsuke backstage and Byron Saxton's with them. And Shinsuke said, I'm tired of people getting in my business. And Byron's like, what do you mean by that? And he said, Byron, I'm tired of people getting in my business. And then so we see maybe like a heel turn coming for Shinsuke, which I'm very excited about, bro.
So initially, I was like, okay, well, at least they're taking and running with their decision having Bronson interfered in Ciampa's match. So at least they're
Mm-hmm.
going. They just never mind. We're not going to do anything with that. Like how Vince was. So at least they're doing that. I give them that. And you already hinted at, and I thought about what you said before. I was like, is a aggressive Shinsuke coming? Because if that's what we're going to get out of this with the three of these guys, I'm all for it.
Same. Same.
So I'm willing to see where
Yeah.
this will go.
Yeah, same. I'm hoping we see. I just want Shinsuke to have a good run because he's getting a little old. I just want him to end on a good note. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
I want to see NXT Shinsuke, but more heelish again.
Yes. I need King of Strong style. Like,
Next.
yeah. I need Shinsuke when he beats Samoa Joe.
God, that was a good match. Jesus,
Bro.
man, that takes me back, dude. I
Bro.
remember that
Those we're
summer.
never gonna get those black and gold days back, bro. And it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. All right, so the main event on Raw was the Undisputed Tag Team Championship match, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day, bro. Ain't no way I'm finna call this man's Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Damian
I kind
Priest.
of
Why
dig
they
it,
add the
man.
dirty? Well, no,
I
why?
mean, okay, let me
It,
clarify. I like it as a nickname. I don't like it if it's going to be a part of his name. Like when they started calling him
yeah,
Seth freaking Rollins, I'm like, so his middle name's freaking now?
yeah,
If it's
like
a,
bros,
again,
they put like dirty in quotations.
yeah, so that I don't like. I like if they call him that as a nickname, like how they'll call Triple H Hunter, or I can't think of another nickname at the moment. I like it as a nickname. I don't like it as his actual name.
Dirty Dom. Like, all right. But anyways, it was a good match, bro. Like,
Was.
they put on a banger. I can't, even though, like, bro, I always say, like, Dominic moves in slow motion, bro. Like, when he sets up the 619, you know how Ray is fast? He has momentum. Like, when Dominic hits you with the 619, it's like a tap. I'm like, bro, like, really put something into it. Like, I just
Maybe
feel
it's because
like
he's taller.
that's what I'm thinking. Like, I feel like maybe Lucha might not be his, might not,
Style.
yeah, might not be his style. Like, maybe
I,
he's meant to wrestle like a big man,
I mean, he still can fly around a little bit, but he does not
Yeah,
have his father's agility. But that's also
yeah,
because he's like
no.
6 inches taller than him.
Yeah, I tweeted, I was like, bro, Dom moves in slow motion, bro, all the time. But yeah, this match ends up being a pretty good match, but we do see Liv Morgan attack Rhea in this match for what she did to Raquel. And then she sent Rhea sent Liv over the barricade, bro. But that was crazy. But this match was, yeah, it was great wrestling. They put on a show, they put on a banger. It was well worth the main event. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn got the win deservingly.
Thought for a little bit that the Judgment Day would get it, which will
Yeah,
go in.
I saw some people saying this. Unless they do a rematch at SummerSlam, I don't know why they just didn't do this at SummerSlam.
True. I just don't know what else the main event of Raw could have been. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
because
probably one of the scenes that Crown Hope happy.
what, like, I guess Sammy and KO as of now they're not on the SummerSlam card, so maybe they will do a rematch. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you got to put them on the card. I mean, they've been
That's what I'm
on,
saying.
yeah,
Yeah,
they've been on every pay-per-view since WrestleMania, so they got to be on. Well, no, that's not true. They weren't in Money in the Bank, but it's SummerSlam. You got to put the tag titles on the line. It's one of the big four. But
yeah,
yeah, I really don't have much to say on the fact. Yeah, great match. They definitely bounced back from that 6 man from last week. And I
yeah,
liked Morgan attacking Rhea. I really think they should book it for SummerSlam. They probably will.
yeah,
Just overall good Raw.
yeah.
No crazy complaints.
Nope. So that was Raw, and now the news, the upset of the week, man, the heist of the week, heist of the year. Dirty Dominic Mysterio beats Wesley on NXT to become the new North American champion, bro. Let me talk, bro. Let me just vent right now, bro. I don't I don't know how I feel about main roster talent being on NXT if they're there to just take over, if that makes sense. Like NXT, apparently Nick Khan and Vince want NXT to be a third brand. They killed that once they brought in 2.0. NXT was almost literally a legitimate third brand when Hunter was in charge of it back in the NXT golden days. Then Vince and whoever decided, no, we're going to change it to 2.0. And then no one really cared about it. And now it's just starting to get its momentum back. And I just don't want, like, apparently they're doing this because they're trying to get a new TV rights deal. So they want to get the viewership up and they want to beat Dynamite in the viewership, which is, I mean, I understand. Okay, but don't like bury talent. Like Wesley was a great champion. He was one of the longest North American champions. Why would you have Dominic Mysterio, who's already established on the main roster, come down and beat him? I don't know, bro. I just don't know how I feel about it.
Agree with all of that. I do feel a little bad for Wesley. I'm not super educated on him, but I just feel bad and kind of everything you just said. Like, dang, like
Yeah,
I mean, that who knows what the backstage decision was like? But from my perspective, it's like, dang, that may have just happened like that. But
bro, right? Like, and Wesley is bro, he puts on banger matches. He's nowhere near the caliber. I mean, Dominic is nowhere near the caliber of wrestler Wesley is on. Granted, they didn't have him win clean. Rhea helped Dominic win. But I don't know. I could understand this if this was like 2 years ago. But Dominic is now an established main roster talent who I honestly think would have benefited from time in NXT just to get his ring performance up. Cause bro, like this was one of Wesley's worst match. Like Wesley is known to make anyone look good, but bro, this match was just not good, bro. It was just a cluster of horribleness. Like Wesley tried his best to help Dominic make him look good, but bro, there's literally a spot where Dominic tries to body slam Wes, and he literally almost drops him on his head, bro. Like it was bad, bro. I just felt bad that this is the way Wesley lost his title. And then they had him on SmackDown, just like in the crowd, had to smile in the crowd like nothing happened on Tuesday. Like, bro, no, get out of here, bro. Get out of here, bro.
Well, regarding that, not to get ahead of ourselves for SmackDown, I mean,
Yeah.
they obviously did that. I mean, just Wesley in general and all the other talent because they were in Orlando to shout them out. But yeah, I mean, just like it's great to be here, guys. It's not like I lost my title or anything,
Yeah.
like I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
that's stupid, but you got to make it more realistic in that sense. But I guess to slightly play devil's advocate, and granted, you probably watched the full match. I didn't. I just saw what I saw on YouTube. What I saw didn't seem that bad, but I'm not going to defend it. But I'll say this, it had shock factor. A lot of people were shocked that Dom did
yeah.
win. It'll get people talking. I actually have a theory, but we have to get the SmackDown first for me to go over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it makes the Judgment Day look more dominant with them having more gold. I do like it to an extent of like Judgment Day is trying to run all of WWE, but do it in moderation and still have them on Raw most of the time. But I do like that a little bit. It makes them, in my mind, more respectable, more dominant, with them having more gold and pulling up. But I do feel bad for Wesley. Hopefully, this isn't a long term thing. Maybe it's like, I mean, when Dolph Ziggler won the NXT championship, that triple threat match, he eventually gave it back to Braun. This is a bit of a different situation. But when Solo won the North American title, he dropped it after a week because I forgot what Shawn Michaels said about the rule or
Yeah,
whatever.
he said it wasn't a approved match, so Solo had to give it up.
Okay. Well, clearly this was because Shawn was on SmackDown, which we'll get to. But I'm willing to see where it will go. But
Yeah.
I have a theory that we'll get to.
And bro, so let's just get into SmackDown. But bro, like, what is the point of the draft, bro? What was the point? What was the point? Judgment Day. What was the point? They're on NXT. And then, as we're going to get into, Dominic defends the North American Championship against Butch on SmackDown. So we have a main roster guy who's on Raw come down to NXT, win the NXT North American Championship, and then goes to SmackDown and says, you know what? Let's defend it on SmackDown. How does it, what's the point of the draft, bro? What is the actual point? This doesn't even make sense anymore. It's just so intertwined. Like, what is the point?
The only thing I have to say is that at least it's not as bad as the wild card rule by Vince.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Agreeable.
that, that's all. That's all I really. I hear what you're saying. I wish the draft was taken more seriously, like back in 2016, where people,
Yeah.
with the exception of the Brock and Randy feud when they were about to fight at SummerSlam, but
Hmm.
people that were drafted by Raw stayed at Raw. People that were drafted at SmackDown stayed at SmackDown. There was
Yeah.
only the intertwining when they had Survivor Series 2019, which I dug all that when they were showing up at other shows to promote Survivor Series. Like I don't agree with free agents unless if it's Brock Lesnar. That's fine. Brock's
Hmm.
earned that right, but I'm just used to it at this point. I mean, if they're not going to take the draft seriously, I mean they're taking it semi seriously. I'll give them that. So again, it's not as bad as the wild card, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry about it anymore.
Yeah. And then so Friday night SmackDown, man, it was live in the Amway Center, Orlando, Florida. We started off United States champion Austin Theory's at ringside. Dude, I just feel bad for Theory. He's just like there, bro. Like he's just there. And he's literally just there until someone beats him for his belt. And then what do we do with him, you know? Yeah. But like we said earlier, they started off, we see Theory, and then we see Wesley and Dragon Lee are sitting at ringside. And Wesley just has a smile on his face because he's happy to be sitting ringside at Friday Night SmackDown, even though he just got screwed out of his NXT North American Championship. But The start of this start of the show was the United States Championship Invitational Fatal 4-Way match. And bro, bro. This is where the week got frustrating. So it was Sheamus, Cameron Grimes, Rey Mysterio, and LA Knight. Everybody knew LA Knight should win. Bro, even the people in the back knew LA Knight should win. But as soon as I checked Twitter earlier that day and they said WWE wants a Latino babyface United States champion, I was like, well, I just got my hopes were up and now they're gone. Because I was like, that means LA Knight might not win. And obviously that is what we think is leading to Santos winning. But before the match, LA Knight cuts a promo. Let me talk to you. He said LA Knight wants to go to a party that involves him, wants to go to SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer, that involves him taking the United States Championship. And he said there are 3 men in the way, but they'll go down one by one. They'll all be saying his name, LA Knight. Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe he will win, But dude, something told me they're not gonna give it to him, bro. Something told me they're just not gonna give it to him. And this is my theory, bro. I will forever be on the Vince McMahon hater train, bro. Like I love Vince McMahon. This industry wouldn't be anything without him. Everything he's done in the past, But there's just like a changing of the times where you just have to change your views and psychology on the wrestling business. And Vince, as we know, Vince doesn't like who the fans like. Vince doesn't like when people get over on their own. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? They're probably not even going to give it to him. And then also earlier that day, I saw that they said the LA Night push will be happening after SummerSlam.
They're just delaying it. I mean, Triple H said after Money in the Bank, big things are coming soon. Well, how soon? How soon?
Yep.
Like, please tell us because I'm sorry, but trends come and go. And if they don't capitalize on this, people are going to eventually stop caring.
Yep.
Maybe, just maybe, this will make have the fans be behind him even more and just make him more of a chaser. But that's a maybe.
Yep.
We texted each other. I was like, I don't understand why have that segment of him calling his shot if he's not going to win.
Yep.
Why? I have nothing against Ray. I have nothing against Santos
Yeah.
Escobar. Nothing against those guys. It's just this decision, and I don't understand it. I mean, and the match was good. I liked the match. Crowd had a good reaction to it. Wrong guy won.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I hope we are proven wrong. I hope something is in store for him, even if it's on a title run. Just something that keeps him relevant. Maybe a feud with somebody. He wins the feud. Good match. Hunky dory. That'd be fine. And then goes for a mid card title, then world title, maybe a year or two down the line, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
in here and the now, I don't understand. I don't.
And it's like we should not be mad when Rey Mysterio gets a win.
Bro,
But in this case, I'm mad, bro. Like this was not the right call.
no.
And they teased him winning too during the match. I was like, bro, it's gonna happen. And nope, they snatched it from us, bro. They snatched it from us, bro. And we shouldn't be upset over Ray winning, but and the only thing that can justify this is if they have Santos turn heel. But other than that, we're just gonna get a student versus teacher. Whoever wins gets a shot at theory. Cool. But the only thing that could save this story is if Santos turns on Ray. But I don't know, man. Ray won, so Ray it's gonna be Ray versus Santos next week, I believe. And yeah, we come back from the break after that. The Cavender twins are there because they're in Orlando, so they're talking about all the NXT people. So the Cavender twins are there. They haven't debuted yet, but they're showing them in the crowd. We see Jay Uso walk backstage talking to Tony D'Angelo. Bro, I love Tony D'Angelo. How you feel about Tony D'Angelo?
Yeah, I actually didn't see that segment, so I don't have any
Oh
thoughts.
yeah, it was just quick. It was just like Jay walking backstage. Like you could sit. He didn't even say anything. He was just thinking about like what he's gonna do tonight with Roman,
Right.
and he sees Tony D'Angelo. And then after that, United States champion Austin Theory walks up to Adam Pearce, and he's furious that Santos attacked him because Santos attacked him earlier that night during that match. And Austin Theory said he wants a shot at Santos tonight. He wants Santos in a match. Pierce said it should be for the championship. Theory says Escobar doesn't deserve a title match, and then Pierce makes the match official. So it's a non-title match against Santos, even though we already think that Santos is winning next week to then face Austin Theory again. And I'm just gonna say it. We're gonna get to it down, but Santos ends up winning this match against Theory. So what is the point of him facing Austin Theory if he's just gonna face him again to beat him again? Like, what's the point of having the number one contendership match?
You know,
Like, yeah,
it almost reminded me back when WWE was finally live again after COVID, and it was like, this is a championship contenders match. You have to beat this champion clean. And then once you beat him, you get a championship opportunity against him. And that's back when Vince was in full control. And again, this was a good match. Santos was honestly on fire. But
hmm
what you just said, what was the point of it? They're honestly doing a disservice of Theory by doing this. Like for probably the
bro.
first time I'm truly defending Austin Theory. I'm like, you are making him less credible by this loss in this match. At the bare
hmm
minimum, at least have the Theory win it, and this wouldn't have
hmm
been super pointless. But now that I'm saying all this, let me get to my theory. Dom just won the North American title. He pulled up to SmackDown, called out Ray, my deadbeat dad. He might, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like he said, if he either said if or when, but like if my father wins the United States Championship, he's only gonna be champion of the United States. I'll be champion of all North America, the continent. Are they about to have Ray win the title, title for title, or just feud against one another, but maybe title for title? And what you just said, maybe Santos costs Ray the title, and we get double champ Dirty Dog.
Bro, if that happens, I just feel like I could honestly see that. And then, but would Santos align with the Judgment Day then? Like, or would he just be on his own as a heel? He would just
Yeah,
that's his heel turn, you know?
maybe.
Yeah. I don't know,
So
bro. It's
let's
just like I don't know, man. It's
before we get to the end of SmackDown, get our special prompt.
yeah.
Most matches on SmackDown this week were good, but it was just the
hmm
why behind them
Yeah,
I
like
didn't like.
why? It was just why go through this whole United States Invitational if you're not gonna have LA Knight win, first of all? Because, bro, they're doing if they don't turn if Santos doesn't end up coming out of this a heel and say he wins, whoever wins, the United States Championship doesn't mean anything now, let's be honest. And it's definitely not gonna mean anything else to the fans if LA Knight doesn't hold it. LA Knight could have done for the United States Championship what Gunther is doing for the IC title right now. And
In his own way, but yeah, I agree.
yeah. And like if Santos wins and he's still a babyface, bro, no one's gonna care about that. I promise you, no one will care about that, dude. He's just gonna be Santos with the United States Championship. It won't have any prestige. It won't have anything. Now, if he turns into like the NXT Santos, okay, back wearing the suits again, okay, I could see that. But they just had lightning in a bottle with LA Knight, and they just didn't capitalize on it.
I personally don't even think Santos is going to beat Ray and go and face Theory. I think because Santos already beat Austin Theory, he loses to Ray.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
We'll see.
dude. Yeah, honestly, it's just like we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And dude, the messed up thing is like no matter how bad the product gets, I'm not gonna stop watching WWE because like I'm a fan of pro wrestling. I watch WWE, I watch AEW. I've been getting more into New Japan, and bro, I watched Impact this past Thursday just because like I like the pro wrestling business. I like the
Right,
industry. So
100%.
yeah, they know that we're still gonna keep getting views, so we can do what we want to their emotions. We can do whatever we want because they're just gonna keep watching still. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, they'll always make money.
Yep. So after that, the next thing was you showed a replay of Brock Lesnar viciously attacking Cody Rhodes. Bro, I tweeted this dude. I was like, I don't want my SmackDown time taking up by recapping Raw for like 3 minutes, bro, about what Brock did to Cody. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and I just think that just goes to show just defeating the purpose of the brand split.
yeah, like, bro, this is SmackDown. There's YouTube for a reason. I promise you, everybody knows what happened on Raw, bro. I promise you, dude. By now, it's Friday. Everybody knows. But yeah, so after that, we see um NXT champion Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams are sitting at ringside, which bro, they're gonna end up, we're gonna talk about them later, but bro, they're gonna end up doing some big things.
Future is bright.
And yeah. And then after that, we get um Charlotte Flair versus Io Sky. So Charlotte comes to the ring, then there's another commercial break. And then we see NXT Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton. I'm a big Tiffany Stratton fan. And her and Charlotte, bro, could end up having a banger of a match in the future. You watch
Not
Tiffany Stratton?
not really. I don't really I remotely pay attention to NXT, but I'm not.
Hmm.
I don't really have an
Bro,
opinion on her.
you're not missing anything, bro. NXT has been like,
Yeah.
but yeah, she's the current NXT Women's Champion. And then yeah, so Charlotte Flair versus Io Sky. Um, I mean, it wasn't a bad match. Like,
It was okay.
yeah, it wasn't anything crazy, but we during the match we do get uh Bailey's at ringside with Io. And Bailey ends up leaving because Shotzi appears on a Titantron and gives this like cryptic like video package. So Bailey gets scared and she leaves. And I know like the whole reason for Shotzi cutting off her hair is because her sister has cancer and stuff, but like, bro, I don't know if like it's just me or I just can't take the Shotzi Bailey thing serious. Like it just felt so like I don't know, like even Bailey's reaction to the video, like you could tell she was trying to be scared, and it looked like she was trying to be scared. You know what I mean?
Don't really care about it. I think there's
Yeah,
a good amount of potential with Shotzi. Like, Shotzi riding the tank was really cool, but
yeah,
I don't know. I don't really have much thoughts on it. I just don't really care about it. It's yeah, to your point, it's hard to take it seriously.
yeah. But then Bailey leaves, so Io's by herself. Charlotte ends up getting the pinfall victory. But after the match, Asuka attacks her from behind with the German suplex, and Asuka hits a running knee. Before applying the armbar, the referee pulls her off. Asuka celebrates with her title. And then in 2 weeks, we get to know that Asuka will defend her title in a triple threat match against Charlotte and Bianca at SummerSlam. How do you feel about that?
It's fine. I think it'll be a good match. I hope Bianca turns heel, like we've already talked about. I think Asuka should win and retain. And I thought Io versus Charlotte again, it was an okay match. Initially I was like, why have Charlotte win because Io's missed Money in the Bank? But really, you don't have to look that strong as Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank when you could become world
Yeah,
champion just like that. So and
yeah,
also if Charlotte's gonna wrestle with SummerSlam, that she needs to be looking strong going into it too.
hmm. And so after that happens, they show the replay of Dominic defeating Wesley on NXT this past Tuesday. Then we get a backstage segment with Kayla Braxton, and she's backstage with Dirty Dom and Rhea Ripley. Dominic says he wants to show his deadbeat dad what a real champion looks like. Even if his father wins the next match, he says he'll only be champion in the United States, and Dominic is the champion of all North America. And then we see Butch come in, and Butch wants Dominic to put the title on the line against him tonight. Dominic says he's not dressed to compete. But then we see Shawn Michaels appear, and HBK says the match will be excellent for SmackDown. So that's match is made official.
We need Pete Dunne back. It was good
Yes.
to see Sean. It's always
Yes.
good to see Sean. It sucks
Yeah.
seeing our childhood legends get older as we get
I
older.
know,
But
bro. Like he looks old too, bro. Sad, bro.
yeah, you often forget just how obvious. I mean, it's scripted and whatnot, right? But they're still putting their bodies on the line. It's obviously not MMA and boxing, but they're still getting hurt. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a toll. Like I remember seeing like on Stone Cold's show with him and Undertaker, and specifically when they were doing like their shot of whiskey and their cheers, like just
Mm-hmm.
the way you could just see the way that they move.
Yep.
Just it takes a toll. Like they
Yep.
have to stretch every day and probably do yoga, so they're not,
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just don't like all the brands mixing together, bro. I don't
Yeah,
know. I just don't,
yeah.
I don't know. But after that match is made official, we get a little video package and we see Roman Reigns. He's seated backstage with Paul Heyman, Sosa Cole looking at him, like just eyeing his every move. Roman stares up and stares at Solo, who eventually looks away. And that leads to, tonight Roman will be making his decision on Jey Uso's SummerSlam challenge later tonight. And then we get the Austin Theory versus Santos Escobar match. But before that, there's a little video package of Bailey goes to her locker and she sees her suitcase and there's a picture of uh, Bailey with scissors through it, which I guess Shotzi put there. So, just a little adding on to that story. And it's a non-title match, United States Champion Austin Theory versus Santos Escobar. Santos Escobar gets the win. This brings us back to the conversation of like, what was the point? You know?
Okay, I mean, and again, the match was good. Santos looked good
Yeah,
again, but what
yeah.
was the point?
Dude, like Theory's a good wrestler, bro.
He is, and he's put on good matches.
Yeah.
You know, after his Money in the Bank cash in last year, which is an absolute travesty. But him winning that contract was also Vince's last. Haha, you got to deal with one of my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so Triple H, I guess, did what he could. I'm not going to say the best he could, but he did what he could.
Mm-hmm.
But then he got built back up. No more of the selfie thing, which drove me nuts. Won the title back, defending it on Raw fairly frequently. I was like, good. Theory is respectable now. But then just ever
Mm-hmm.
since WrestleMania, when he beat Cena, which I know we talked about before, how John's body is right now. That match was all right. Just
Yeah.
theory, like you said, theory's just there. I mean,
Yeah.
they're doing him. I don't know whether to blame him or the creative, but I feel like creative is just doing him a disservice.
Nah, bro, it's creative. It's creative.
Yeah.
Like at this point, dude, remember what I said? I said if LA Knight doesn't win, bro, I give up on WWE creative. And I've completely given up, dude. I just let them do what they do now. But after that, we see a little backstage segment of Bobby Lashley meeting with Carmelo Hayes and Trigger Williams. And we forgot to mention that last week we saw Bobby Lashley with the Street Profits. He invited the Street Profits. He picked them up. So I'm hoping there's a Hurt Business in the making. And bro, with Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, Carmelo, Trick, and if they add Bianca, turn Bianca heel and add Bianca, bro, they could have a crazy strong faction, bro.
Her business was awesome when they did that back in the Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm.
It made Cedric Alexander and Shelton more credible and respectable. That is a lot, though, with six people in a faction. It would be good. It probably would be good. It would be dominant. Don't get me wrong. I guess for me, I'd rather see. No offense to Trick, but I would rather see Bobby, the Street Profits, and Carmelo, or Bobby and the Street Profits. Maybe uh have a reunion with MVP and bring in Omos. I feel like maybe
Okay.
Omos could benefit from a faction,
You see where,
but
bro, if if there's Carmelo, there has to be Trick in my eyes.
I don't
Like,
blame you
bro,
for that.
Trick Mello, bro, Trick Mello. They're like this. And bro, Trick can talk. He's great on the mic, bro. He's a man of words. He knows how to put words together. Him and Mello together, bro. Like, even if he's just Melo's like manager or whatever, like I don't know. I just feel like they could be like, imagine they do like a Survivor Series match of like the Hurt Business versus the Judgment Day.
No, and while you just said that, I'm thinking maybe do include Trick, and Trick is their MVP.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that
Because
could
he
work.
can go on the ring too, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like I he bro,
definitely.
he has like a similar moveset to Booker T. Like, cause they're the same stature and everything. And like he has like a lot of Booker T-esque like ring presence. Which
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean
for what
makes sense because you
yeah,
said,
I mean, for what I've seen, Trick seems like the real deal.
yeah, bro, he's good, man. But yeah, I hope that comes into fruition. And then the NXT North American Championship match, Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus Butch. And of course, Dominic has Mommy Rhea with him at ringside. Dude, a lot of stuff happened in this match. Like, we see Pretty Deadly coming in this match. I'm a Pretty Deadly fan, bro. I stand with Pretty Deadly, but I just wasn't a fan of what they did, you know. But yeah, because Elton Prince he actually got hurt in real life, so he was brought out in a wheelchair. But yeah, bro. I don't really have much to say about this. I'm gonna be honest. It's just I don't really. I don't think like why are we in the main of is it wasn't that the main event? Yeah, it's the main event like match. Why are we even defending the North American Championship between two main roster guys on Friday Night SmackDown?
I mean, back in 2019, when all those main roster guys got stuck over in Europe, so they brought up NXT to come wrestle the guys that were still on the main roster, and
Hmm.
Adam Cole defended the NXT title. They did that because they had to do that, but it also
Yeah.
built up Survivor Series. They didn't really have to do this, so we're coming back in a circle on this episode. It's just like why, why?
Hmm.
And quite frankly, well, how does Shawn Michaels have authority on SmackDown? He's the
Bro.
general manager of NXT.
Brother. You and me are both wondering.
Right. So I
It
mean,
just it just makes you feel like nothing
forced.
matters anymore. WWE, yeah, WWE is just a free for all.
Yeah, I've just come to the acceptance that they don't take the brand split seriously. So like that's why I just don't have super strong feelings about it. But I mean, but I completely agree with you. And the match as the whole, I thought it was fine up until the end. It almost seemed botched, like when he was going for the cover and I don't know that ref's name. She was like, it's like the ropes right
Hmm.
there, ropes. And I mean, and obviously she's just doing her job, right? I mean, like the
Hmm.
referees do, I mean, they do go along with it, but at the same time, they do have a job to still be the referee and they always got to try and count to three, whether they
Hmm.
forget to kick out or not. But I was just like,
Yeah.
bro, come on. I'm like, realistically, Butch would have kicked out with the time that he was given when Dom's trying to get into the cover and he was too close to the rope. It just seemed very rushed towards the end. And
Yeah.
I don't like Pretty Deadly right now. Maybe I will eventually. So when I saw them, I was like, get them off my screen, please.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I like Pretty Deadly. I just don't know. Like, they should like this whole whatever they did on the match. It didn't have any.
Yeah, and to each their own. I just can't take him seriously.
Yeah. All right, so now we get to the last bit of SmackDown. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso rule of engagement. So they start off. Roman comes to the ring. Jay's waiting for him in the ring. They sit down at the table. Roman looks at Jay, says, You still want to do this? And Jay says, yeah, I still want to do this. He said, I'm supposed to do this. You're making me do this. You called the shot. Jimmy's in the hospital. So now, Roman, I've got to get you. Reigns looks at him and he calls him Little J, bro. Little J. The disrespect is crazy. The disrespect is crazy. And then Roman says Jay is just a soldier, a pawn in the game. Reigns slaps the microphone down, pulls a contract over. Reigns laughs until he hears the crowd going, Uso, Uso. Reigns signs the contract for a championship match at SummerSlam. Jay grabs a contract and he rips it up. Jay says they don't need a contract. He said this contract is written in blood. He said this is tribal combat now. So this is like beyond WWE. This is beyond signing a WWE contract. This is blood. This is tribal combat. And he says when Jay says that like Reigns was like, did the elders know about this? And Jay says, yeah, it was their idea. So now my question is, do we see the elders at SummerSlam?
That'd be pretty cool.
Right?
I was thinking too, but this probably would have been better for maybe earlier this summer. Do we see Rikishi?
Bro, right? Do we? Do we, bro?
That'd be pretty
And
cool.
bro,
Or maybe
yeah,
maybe Rikishi pulls up to SummerSlam too and watches it.
bro. Bro, this is a really, really far stretch. But like the Hollywood, the writers and the actors strike going on? You know what I'm talking about?
I know where you're going with this.
Bro,
Okay. Before let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. Good point with the strike that's going on, but let me just stop you right there before you continue. I have lost hope and lost interest for Rock versus Roman. I would still
you've
love
lost
to see.
interest in it?
Okay, maybe that's a little too far. I
Okay,
think
okay, okay,
okay,
okay.
okay,
Hope,
that's not
I
okay. I'm
understand.
sorry. Went too far. I just lost hope. I'm not getting my hopes up again for it. In my mind, the perfect time for it to happen was it WrestleMania this year because WrestleMania goes Hollywood, Dwayne transitioned to Hollywood.
Yeah.
But Cody versus Roman was still phenomenal. However, maybe Rock coming back, maybe for Survivor Series because that's where he debuted, maybe for the Royal Rumble because that's a big pay-per-view
Hmm.
too would work. I'm just not getting my hopes up for it, man. And I guess in a while on the subject, not to go too far in the rabbit hole. Supposedly, so Rock and Grayson Waller have actually had a few interactions on Twitter. Some
Yeah,
people are
we
thinking
forgot
that
to mention that too.
it's
Because
true, but
Grayson called him out on SmackDown.
he did. But some people are the rumor is that maybe Grayson has a segment at SummerSlam. Rock pulls up to it and
Hmm.
is a guest. And apparently, some people are saying that Rock is seeking public or positive attention because people are clowning on him for going back to Fast and Furious, and people are clowning on
Oh,
him
okay.
for the
That's
for
why I
the
didn't know why.
well, I think it was that, and they were also like crapping on him for. I guess the XFL lost a lot of money despite being bad for
Oh,
this
okay.
season. But in my
Okay,
mind,
okay.
who cares? I'm
Yeah, I
like,
don't.
who cares that he went back to Fast and Furious? I mean, and quite frankly, I love Dwayne, but I think as us wrestling fans can say this, he's just acting himself when he's in
Yeah,
movies.
he's not a good actor, bro.
I think he's better than Cena and Batista so far.
No, whoa,
Okay.
whoa. Batista is the best. Is the best actor, wrestler turn actor. Batista's the best. Then,
Mm,
bro, Rock's at the bottom. Like pure, like based off of like pure
no,
getting a role,
John's
bro.
at the bottom,
You
bro.
think so,
Oh.
bro? But I enjoyed John way more in the Peacemaker and stuff compared to I enjoyed Rock and bro. Black Adam was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad, bro.
Black Adam was a junk food movie. That's my analogy.
Yeah,
Good entertainment, but not a good movie.
yeah. Like
That's
I can take John Cena more serious in a role than I can The Rock, bro. Definitely.
I take Rock more seriously than John.
That's
I
crazy.
think John's getting okay, wow. This is like the first time we fully disagree
Yeah.
on something. I think Batista's getting okay, we're going down a rabbit hole. I think Batista's getting better I liked him in a knock at the cabin in the woods, knock at
Bro,
the cabin, whatever it
that was
was.
great. Knock at the cabin. That was great.
He did good in that. I just think and Batista could prove me wrong, but I just think Batista has just been kind of that bad, you know what character in a movie, and he's just a good Drax in my mind.
Okay, yeah. And I feel like a lot of people think him that way. That's why he said he's done with Marvel because he doesn't want that to be his legacy.
I don't blame him for that. But I just
Yeah.
think Dwayne is just so much more charismatic than the both of them that he's more willing to get by. Maybe that's just why I can take
Yeah,
it more
I see what
seriously.
you're saying. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
didn't mean to
Um,
go down the rabbit hole, but back
yeah.
to kind of close up to what I'm ending it with Rock is that would I love to see that match happen? Absolutely. I just don't think it's going to happen. Dwayne doesn't owe WWE anything. I think we all need to
Mm-hmm.
understand that he doesn't owe them
Mm-hmm.
anything. And we really don't know where he's at ring shape wise. He looks great, obviously, in
Yeah.
terms of muscles, but we don't know where he's at with that. But could he return before WrestleMania? Because I think it's still going to be Roman versus Cody WrestleMania again. Sure, and that'd be
Mm-hmm.
awesome. But I don't want
Dude,
to get my hopes up.
yes, I don't want to get off topic, but bro, I do not want to see. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I don't care about Cody versus Roman anymore. I don't care. I don't care. I really just don't. They lost the momentum to me. And I don't care if Cody doesn't beat Roman or not anymore. Like, I don't know, man. But that's another video for a different day.
Yeah.
Jay says tribal combat means anything goes. He said I can light him up with a stick. He can hit him with a chair, put him through the table. He can even grab the lady's slipper in the crowd and hit him with it. And bro, Roman couldn't hold the laugh in. Solo was trying hard to hold it in. Solo kept it, but Roman had to play it off and let him laugh. But yeah, Reigns tells Orlando and Little J to shut their mouths. He said the tribal chief is talking now. Reigns says this is not his first rodeo. He's run this place for over a decade now. Reigns puts the undisputed WWE Championship on the table and says it doesn't mean anything to him. He says Reigns says he wants to fight now. Jay reiterates that this is tribal combat. The crowd chants something I don't even know because the Fox blurted out or bleeped it out or whatever. Reigns starts to look emotional and he takes the lei from around his neck and he puts the lei on the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And then Reigns and Jay come up to the front and they put their heads together and shake their hands like a sign of respect. Like best man will win. This is bigger than anything WWE. This is our family's sake. This is tribal combat. This is blood. And then Reigns looks into Jay's eyes before walking off, and as he leaves the ring, Solo Sikoa tries to hit Jay with a Samoan spike, but Roman grabs Solo before he could do it. And then Jay super kicks Solo. So it's almost like bro, Roman still cares about his family. He still cares. We get to see that little bit of whatever that grace of Roman's humanity. It's still there. Because if it wasn't there, he would have let Solo Samoan spike him. But the respect came in.
Roman, yeah, I mean, Roman still loves his family, but like I mentioned before, I mean, he just wants to do things his way. He may not like or respect his family at times. Obviously, there was respect in this case because this was clearly like a Samoan thing with it being tribal
Yeah.
combat,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I think he put the lay on it too, because clearly whoever wins will be tribal chief if the elders suggested this idea. Go back, sorry, my mind drew a blank. Go back just a little bit before with a segment with Solo and Roman. I just the
Mm-hmm.
remember my theory of does the lay corrupt? Solo just looking at the lay,
Mm-hmm.
looking at it as Roman was holding it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he held it briefly, and the power, like you talked about. I just want to point out that detail.
Yeah.
I still think this is a good segment, but this might be a hot take. I don't know. A lot of this felt forced to me.
Bro. Yeah. I feel like they're trying to wrap it up to get to the next thing. Whatever that next thing
It
is.
felt forced and it felt rushed
Yeah.
just a little bit to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I guess they're just showing how I guess the fact that it's like that, they wanted to show how much more intense because it's family, how much more serious they're taking it. Like tribal combat means it's serious. They have to put everything else aside. You know what I mean?
right. I hate. Okay, no disqualification, no holds barred, and extreme rules is all the same thing. So
Mm-hmm.
clearly, at least from what Jay's description was, that's just all it's going to be is no holds barred.
Yeah.
Unless if they're going to add some Samoan spice to it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the match is still going to be great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on the match, and it's going to be
Yeah.
fine. But just, oh, it's tribal combat. You're just adding that for the story. It's not going to be,
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but it's not going to be a special gimmick. It's just going to be
Yeah.
anything.
Nah.
But with that
Yeah.
being said, I really hope it's just Roman and no interference, just Roman and Jay, just balls to
Yeah.
the wall, leave it out. Probably interference, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get my hopes up for it for a clean match, but I hope it is.
Yeah. And then I tweet before we get into the special prompt. I tweeted this. This is how I would want things to go. I said after that match or during the match, Solo should turn on Roman finally, but not side with Jimmy or Jay. Instead, him and Paul Heyman should go alone, be by themselves, make Paul Heyman his special counsel, then have Solo go on an insane power trip and rebellion against the whole Samoan family.
That, or I always kind of wanted to see like maybe when Jimmy comes back, and we talked about this briefly, give Jimmy just a main event match with Roman, see what they're capable of. And
Yeah.
maybe after
Okay.
after his Roman has now beaten both Usos,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's when Solo turns on him. Because what you just said, maybe Roman does this, pushes his head, and then just pop gets him with the spike. The pop without be crazy, but yeah, I think Solo and Paul would be a great duo.
Yeah.
But I like that idea.
Yeah.
Solo just goes on his own.
Yep. Well, that was in the SmackDown. We know that SummerSlam we're getting a tribal combat match. And honestly, the SummerSlam card doesn't look too bad. It looks we're getting 3 trilogies, so and I'm gonna be honest, one trilogy I couldn't care about. I don't even think the Brock and Cody thing should be solidified as a trilogy. Like we had 3 matches, but were they really good matches? Mm,
Backlash, I think, was better than Night of Champions, just my opinion.
yeah,
It's just a bit of a rushed ending.
yeah. All right,
But
this is where things get interesting. Special prompt time.
so yeah,
Mount
we have
Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore wrestling. So for context, we were talking about this, and like Johnny said, we're going to do just our Mount Rushmore wrestling in general, just in ring work, legacy, promo, character, you name it, everything. And then we're just going to do our personal favorites. And I feel like, I mean, personal favorites, obviously, too, but when it comes to the Mount Rushmore, just my take. There is rarely a wrong answer when it comes to this. It really is subjective and relative because that's kind of the interesting thing about wrestling is you could pick a goat in basketball, you can argue LeBron and Michael Jordan, you can pick the goat quarterback and argue Tom Brady and Joe Montana, Pat Mahomes
Mm,
eventually, but wrestling is so
Joe
broad.
Burrow. Joe Burrow eventually too. Yeah, but
Wrestling is so broad. You can rarely pick one goat. A Mount Rushmore is already hard, but you can rarely pick
mm,
one goat. Like you could say Ric Flair, but then you're like, well, what about Hulk Hogan because of XYZ? Like I won't say this person's name and who they were to me just out of respect. Yeah, I don't want to give too much about my personal life, but I once shared my Mount Rushmore with this person, and they said that that was valid. But they said, and I quote, I cannot put Hulk Hogan on my Mount Rushmore because of what he did as a face and a heel in WWE and
mm,
WCW. I was like, you know what? That's incredibly valid. He's not on my Mount Rushmore. That is a very good point.
mm.
So I just want to kind of share that and my thoughts on the Mount Rushmore. But anywho, here's my Mount Rushmore of wrestling: Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Stone Cold, John Cena.
Bro, that's crazy because ours are pretty close.
Okay, well, and the why for each of them, I don't, don't have to go. I don't have to drag
Mm,
it out. You can't get called Mr. WrestleMania and not be, in the Mount Rushmore and not be top five all time, in my opinion. I mean, Shawn was ahead of his time. Shawn had the longevity. My very first WrestleMania, like we talked about, or the top 10 favorite matches last week. Shawn was in the main event. That was his last match. Don't care about the other one that he came out of retirement. Shawn was in that. Shawn could, to quote Undertaker, Shawn could put on a 5-star match with a broomstick. I mean,
Yeah.
Shawn was that guy. I mean, almost all of his WrestleMania matches are great, and championships he's won. Character was great. Heel Shawn is goated, in my opinion. Heel Shawn was better in terms of character, was better than like 21st century Shawn. The bad
Oh,
attitude,
for sure. Yeah.
bad attitude Shawn was awesome. Taker is my personal favorite, is my favorite wrestler of all time. I mean, Taker is loyal. He stayed relevant. He changed his character when necessary. Taker did what was best for business, but he was going to keep himself relevant in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Taker was the corner. Taker was never the face of an era, but he was the cornerstone of every era he was a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew when to get back to the business. He knew when to make someone look good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Taker's right. Loyalty and respect goes a long way. Undefeated. He's not Mr. WrestleMania, but he's WrestleMania's phenom. Was undefeated, and even though the streak was broken, is never going to. No one's ever going to beat his record, get as many wins as WrestleMania as he did.
Yep.
I mean, and it came to a point where Taker pretty much stole the show at WrestleMania for like 10 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
And world champion, multiple titles, all that things. And Taker really never needed a world title to look dominant. Steve was the face of the Attitude Era, at least what was one of the faces. He helped WWE beat WCW, was a huge part of that. I mean, when that glass shattered, pop. No one's ever going to win 3 Royal Rumbles. Steve deserves to hold that record. And, we kind of talked about with LA Knight, but like Steve can put on a great match. He has a 5-star match on his resume by Dave Meltzer with Bret Hart, but he was so over in the Attitude Era. I remember we briefly talked about this. I wish we could have experienced the Attitude Era. He was so over in the Attitude Era. Steve could have sneezed and gotten a pop.
Literally.
Just it was just lightning in a bottle. And they took it and ran with it. I mean, Taker said it himself. He was like, if Shawn wasn't going to do what he needed to do that night at WrestleMania 14, I would have made sure of it. He said, you were the guy at the time.
Mhm. And
I
think
mean,
about it, bro. It makes sense. The comparisons with LA Knight and Stone Cold. Like
yep.
when's the last time we've seen these organic pops,
Nate. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and just, I mean, what else? Anything else that has happened since then? You're like, well, Austin did it first. And then finally, John Cena just Vince needed a new face. Brock left, Rock left. Obviously Batista's up there too. The night of WrestleMania 21, but John stepped up, almost got fired, was a doctor of thugonomics, and then eventually just became the face of the WWE. And yeah, he was Super Cena in like 2006, 2010, sure, but almost everything that John was a part of, it was great. And I mean,
Yeah.
not all, and John eventually in like the mid to later years of his career added more moves to his move set, started proving haters wrong. John Cena doing sunset flips, are you kidding me? Doing tornado DDTs, the
Yep.
one suicide dive that he did against Punk. John continues to prove people wrong. Just prove people wrong, and the people are cheering for him now these past couple of years because we know that our legends are getting older. It gets to a point where it's like, all right, we got to start cheering for them because we know they're going to be gone.
Facts.
Just there's a reason he was picked to have as many world title reigns as Ric Flair. He made the United States Championship prestigious again back in 2015. One of the best matches, main events of all time against The Rock at WrestleMania 28. I mean, he's main evented WrestleMania numerous times, rightfully so. And the Make a Wish Kids record that he holds, that's just a testament to him as a person.
Facts.
So I kind of rambled a little bit, probably missing
Nah,
some
you're good,
points, but
bro.
that is my Mount Rushmore wrestling and why.
Bet. So mine, Steve Austin, Rock, Cena, Taker.
Okay.
Steve
Yeah.
Austin, yeah, the same reason you said, face of the Attitude Era. if we're talking about greatest stories lines of all time, him versus McMahon, bro. Like that's the bar, bro. That's literally what the bloodline is trying to replicate. You know what I mean? In terms of like
100%.
wanting to see the product every single week. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like when you think about who is a person who does not care about anything, opinions or anything, it is Stone Cold Steve Austin. He didn't care about what people thought. He was him. He drank his beer. He rode his four-wheeler. He was the epitome of the Attitude Era. There would be no Attitude Era without Stone Cold. And then The Rock. What were you about to say?
I was just saying, I didn't want to cut you off, but I
Oh, no, you're
tweeted, I
good.
said, LA Knights, yeah, is the next what?
What?
But
Yes.
again, back to my point, Steve did it first.
Yep. Yep. The Rock. I said The Rock because, bro, the way he was able to reinvent himself, going from Rocky Maivia, not getting anything, getting the Rocky sucks chance, ride, die, Rocky die. He joined the Nation Domination, and then he became what we know as now The Rock. And him, the thing was, bro, he was only on top. Him and Steve, bro, they were not on top for that long. But when they were on top, they were on top. And Rock got out of it, went to Hollywood. And he's became literally part of the reason he's on here is because he's literally one of the most famous people in the world, bro. Like what he's been able to do outside of WWE is still insane. Like, and I don't think he's done with WWE. I feel like we're still gonna get one more Rock match at least, bro. Like at least down the line, I feel like we are, because The Rock is all about making money, bro. Like he's not gonna sit at home with no one writing movies soon, like for so long. You know what I mean? So yeah, Rock, and then we have Cena, bro. He's John Cena. He literally is the face of my childhood, like the face of WWE. Like when you think of WWE in the mid 2000s, in 2010, it's John Cena. And the fact that he was able to stay on top for so long without really changing who he was, bro. The baby face. Of course, he gets booed and stuff, but the fact that he was face of the company for that long, he wore jorts. He never changed anything how he looked, bro. He was cookie cutter John Cena, and he still got over that. That's crazy. And then Taker. What you said about Taker, everything, you hit almost everything. The thing I want to take on, he never broke character. Like now we see a lot of people breaking character because social media and stuff, which is understandable. Like people can't stay in character 24/7, but like because we also have a more of a fan base who's aware of what goes on and stuff. But back then, bro, it's like Taker, he would wear all black everywhere he went, even when he wasn't in the ring, bro, just traveling, all black, all black. And so people would like he wanted people to think that he was the Undertaker 24/7. And the fact that he never broke character, and he Taker, like you said, was loyal. Like he knew what he knew his body was like couldn't take another match. But what did he do? Had another match. I watched the documentary they did on him, bro. He would literally have to get like surgeries after every single one of his WrestleMania matches, dude. And he would do that just for that 30 minutes to an hour of wrestling, just for us, bro. Like he loved the business so much. He was so loyal to Miss McMahon. Like it's crazy what he's done. But yeah, that's I'm not gonna go crazy. That's mine.
I just to kind of just because our list was actually very, very similar, with the exception of
Yeah.
Rock. I mean, just yeah, I mean his commitment, Taker's commitment is just so crazy. And I mean, it's honestly pretty inspiring. I don't know how much you know, but like he talked about it on Steve's podcast of how when he was at WCW first, and
Mm-hmm.
and they said he got let go, and they said, "Kid, you're a great athlete, but no one's gonna pay to watch you wrestle."
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
and then he got
Boy, did they
and
prove them wrong.
Vince said it himself. The Undertaker is his greatest creation.
Mm-hmm.
Like that
Mm-hmm.
character is his greatest creation, and he took it. Taker took it and ran with it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
his Hall of Fame speech. If Taker retired 10 years sooner, he still would have gotten the ovation that he did.
Bro,
And
definitely,
just
dude.
when he talked about how in '95 when WWE or WWF was doing terrible, and they're like, "Did you
Mm-hmm.
think about going to WCW?" And he said, "No." He said, "If this ship was sinking, I was going down with Vince."
Yep.
I mean, just I teared up when they were giving
bro.
the him
For
ovation.
real.
And to your point, I mean, like he said in his Hall of Fame speech, he was like, us, the fans, were sometimes his reason for doing a
Hmm.
match.
Hmm.
Because I mean, put some respect on us wrestling fans, bro. We're pretty passionate. So
Bro, we're very passionate.
right. Yeah, and just everything you said about John and Steve, right on the money. I wanted just to address Rock. I completely respect your pick. I just want to say why I don't have him on my Mount Rushmore.
Hmm.
Not trying to hate. Wayne, super charismatic, great on the mic, always has been. I just don't know if he would have been as successful without his family in the business. Because his dad, Rocky Johnson,
Yeah, Rocky
was in the
Johnson.
business too,
Yeah, and then
and
also
Peter
Peter
Maivia.
Maivia. Yeah, I still feel like of course he got in because of his dad and his grandfather, but like he had like he they gave him this chance. He was literally gonna get he's probably gonna get fired if nothing
Right.
changed. But the fact that he was able to reinvent himself and become what he is, I still feel like he would have done the same.
And that's fair. I guess like his own charisma comes from him. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Uh-huh.
come from his family. But that's just something that kind of held me back. And don't get me wrong, all the respect in the world for the Anawahi family and
Yeah,
just the
yeah, yeah.
Simones in general. I mean, like it runs deep. But just for me, I was like, would he have been as successful? I guess it's kind of like the
Yeah.
same thing with Randy Orton.
Thank
Randy
you
Orton's the
say
third.
yeah, I mean even Roman, bro. Like think about if the Samoan dynasty wasn't as big as it is. Like
Right,
with these people they probably just wouldn't be as big as they are, you know?
right.
Yeah.
But anywho, to get the personal favorites, and half of my list is already on my personal favorites anyway. Undertaker's my favorite wrestler of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I may have already said it, but just on a previous episode, but just very quick. Very first time I watched WWE was the SmackDown right before 2010 Elimination Chamber. That's the first pay-per-view I ever watched. And Taker, he did this to Batista, um, and rolled his eyes, and it scared me as a kid, but it intrigued me
Yeah.
too. And just everything I've already said. I mean, there was a certain point in his career where Taker could put on a good match with anybody as well,
Mm-hmm.
with the exception of Giant Gonzalez. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but
No,
but
no, no, yeah.
with the exception of him, but I mean, but Taker was that guy. He was the locker room leader.
Yeah.
I gotta put John on my favorites on Mount Rushmore just because, like you, was a part of my childhood as well. And
Mm-hmm.
like I say, I feel like I've said this 1,000 times. When I first started watching wrestling as a kid, I was very black and white. Well, John was always the good guy. Randy turned heel a couple times, but John
Mm-hmm.
was always the good guy. So I always liked John consistently. There were
Yeah.
times I did not like Randy Orton. And this is where it gets tough. I think I actually will go with Randy.
That's
I
very understandable.
yeah, I mean, Randy was a part of my childhood too. I think I go Randy over Triple H. Love Hunter, but
Mm-hmm.
Randy just wrestled full time longer, so he was a part of my childhood
Mm-hmm.
longer before Hunter eventually transitioned over to part time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember as a kid going to Hell in a Cell 2010. Looking back on it, the pay per view sucked, but just seeing Hell in a Cell as a kid was mesmerizing. And when Randy Orton beat Sheamus, he got on top of the cell and looked in our direction where we were, holding the
Yeah.
WWE Championship and celebrating. And just as a kid, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's very cool to see. I mean,
Yeah.
and JBL was right. You craft a sports entertainer, a wrestler, you get Randy Orton. Triple H is
Mm-hmm.
right. Randy has it all. He's always had it all.
Yeah.
I like to compare Randy and John, like their rivalry and relationship, to like Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. And some people
Mm-hmm.
argue that Randy Savage is better than Hogan. You could argue that Randy's better than John.
Yeah.
14-time world champion, Grand Slam champion. I mean, don't even have to say any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, I think I'll, honest to God, have to go with Roman. And I'll go with Roman just because of the Shield at one point in my childhood.
Okay.
And when I got back into wrestling about 2015, that's when the push for Roman to be the next face of the company started. So I
Mm,
mean, just Roman's roller coaster of a career at
yeah,
that point was just like eighth grade, high school, and then during COVID of college, freshman year, when he
mm-hmm.
returned at SummerSlam and became the heel and tribal chief, what he always should have been. That's just kind of been just parts of my life, the latter half of me
Understandable, yeah.
liking wrestling. So I mean, what Roman has done at the tribal chief has been phenomenal. So that's probably my Mount Rushmore when it comes to my all-time favorites.
All right, cool, bro. Yeah, I can see Randy. Yeah, Randy. You can argue, like you said, better than John Cena because he also was a face and a heel. I mean,
Right.
Randy's one of the best heels of all time.
Like,
Yeah, but my list: Jeff Hardy, Batista,
mm,
and then these last two are kind of you're gonna be like, bro, like Dolph Ziggler,
no, I can see that.
and then my last one, he hasn't even hit his prime yet to me, Adam Cole.
Oh, I think that's actually about a list.
Jeff Hardy because bro, he literally is the reason why I am now. Like, bro, Jeff Hardy shaped my style, the piercings, the dyed hair. Like, bro, he's literally my childhood was Jeff Hardy. I idolized wanting to be like Jeff Hardy growing up. And that's really all I gotta say for that. Like he is the when I think of wrestling as a child, my childhood, bro, Jeff Hardy's number one. Like seeing him finally get that world WWE championship victory and world championship victory, bro. Nothing can beat that for me, bro. Like him beating Triple H and Edge at Armageddon, dude. It's crazy. Batista.
Match.
Batista because obviously what he was able to do in Evolution, but then what he was able to do after Evolution. Like he was put in Evolution, same with Randy. But then after Evolution, he was able to beat Triple H and then become one of the greatest world champions of all time. And also because obviously what he's been able to do after WWE, continue his career in Hollywood and everything. But bro, like when I think of Batista, bro, Batista before he started wrestling, he was a bodybuilder. He was a bodybuilder and a bouncer. I'm a bodybuilder. So like I was always not like I feel like part of the reason why I like wrestling or bodybuilding is because growing up, bro, like seeing Batista on your TV, like, bro, his physique he has one of the best wrestling physiques of all time. They called him the animal for a reason. And he could not only be a strength guy, but bro, Batista is underrated in his agility, dude. Like he can move fast in the ring. And for him to leave the way he did, come back, and the whole thing he did with Triple H and the give me what I want, give me what I want. Like, bro, that is even though it wasn't great when we saw it, now I look back on it like, bro, it's gold, even if it is like funny-ish. You know what I mean?
I'm not trying to hate, but he said that a lot because he forgot his lines.
Yeah, he did. He
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler to me is the biggest what if in WWE history. I believe Dolph Ziggler could have been the next HBK. Dolph Ziggler, one of the best pure wrestlers ever. He's the best seller in my eyes. But him, Brock, Shawn Michaels, best sellers ever. And even for him to take the super kick and perfect it the way he did, obviously it's not on an HBK level. But I just feel like he never got the push he deserves. And the fact that he's just like, and I think that he's honestly just okay with that now, which is fine. You know, he's getting the check. But I feel like if WWE capitalized on him, bro, he could have been one of the best ever. And then the last one, Adam Cole, baby. When I first saw Adam Cole, yep. When I first saw Adam Cole, bro, I haven't been this captivated by a wrestler since Jeff Hardy, where like I wanted to learn everything about all their old matches, all their old like promotions and stuff. Like I went back and watched Bullet Club Adam Cole, New Japan Adam Cole, Ring of Honor Adam Cole, when he was with Johnny Gargano at one point in a tag team. All right, cool. Because my speaker changed.
Yeah,
Okay, there we go. Yeah, my headphones died, so
there you go. Oh,
yeah, my headphones died, so the speaker changed to my computer.
that's so weird.
Adam Cole, like the he came to NXT. He was, in my eyes, I want to say the greatest NXT champion ever, bro. Like with Undisputed Era, heel Adam Cole to me is the best Adam Cole. For him to say, for him to leave WWE and go to AEW. And at first I was like, I don't know if he's gonna last in AEW. But now, bro, he's finally getting his glory and getting everything he deserves. And he's just a great wrestler in the ring. He's great on the mic. He can stand toe to toe with anyone. Like he said, bro, half these wrestlers can't lace his boots, bro. Things he does in the ring are insane. I just think he hasn't hit the peak of what he can be. And I feel like he's gonna end up being on the same talks as like Shawn Michaels one day, bro. But yeah, I don't want to get too crazy in that, but that's my list. And that's it, man.
Well, yeah, so we're about to run out of time, but that is our Mount Rushmore of all time and our personal favorites. Thank you guys again for watching us.
Yep.
Follow us down below on our social media, below the YouTube video. Listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere for you guys. And thank God for wrestling.
Yep. The Spotify and Apple Podcasts will be up as soon as possible. And then the visuals will come later. But we want to do both ways because we know some people don't like to watch a full podcast on YouTube, which is understandable. But yeah, man, follow us on, like we said, Instagram at Thank God for Wrestling Pod. And thank God for wrestling, man. Thank you guys for another episode.